Hey guys, this is Tauna. Today we've got the final upgrade guide. Apologies, I am a little bit unwell at the moment, so if I'm a bit croaky, apologies. So this is going to be the upgrade deck, upgrade guide for the Science deck. The link's going to be down in the description. As usual, make sure you subscribe. We've got one for each of the new Fallout decks. I've been working hard over the last couple of days to make sure these are ready. We've primarily focused in on basically energy. I wanted to go full energy. Like, there's in the main one, there's like an energy kind of is more of like a secondary almost theme to artifacts, but this time around, I wanted to go full energy. We've got some artifact stuff still in there and everything like that, but I just want to, focus really heavily onto the energy because I love the idea of it. So these are going to be our upgrades. As I said, link is going to be down in the description for you guys to check it out. So we've got the Aether Hub in there, easy tap just a land that's going to tap for colorless, gives us an energy when it enters, as well as we can pay colorless to add 1 mana of any we can pay energy to add 1 mana of any color to our mana pool. Just a way for us to spend our energy, as well as just a general decent kind of land for us to be able to kind of mana fix. It enters, we've got a lot of colorless stuff in here, so it doesn't matter too much if it enters and just does colorless. It enters untapped, which is really nice too. We've got the Aether Geode Miner. You're going to notice a lot of cards from, like, I believe it's the Kaladesh block or something along those lines, where there was a lot of cards to do with energy, and since then there hasn't been any, so kind of bringing back some of these. So we've got Aether Geode Miner here. Whenever it attacks, gain 2 energy. We can also pay 2 energy to exile it, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. So it's got kind of like a built-in defense mechanism if we wanted to. Mostly we're just using it to generate a whole bunch of energy whenever it attacks. We've got Era of Innovation. When an artifact or artificer enters the battlefield under your control, you can pay 1. If you do, get 2 energy. And then we can pay 6 energy to sacrifice Era of Innovation to draw 3 cards. We're mostly just going to use this to, generate a lot of energy. We've got a lot of stuff in here that's going to be whenever an artifact or something like that enters the battlefield, generate some energy. So we've got a lot of energy payoffs. We've got Academy Manufacturer in here. Simple. Anytime we generate a clue, food, or treasure, we're going to generate 1 of each. It's going to be helpful, especially when we've got, a whole bunch of stuff that, can generate these. I've cut some of the stuff that was generating clues and stuff, but I have kind of kept in some of it, as well as the fact that it's an artifact golem that's going to be decent for us to be able to use for other stuff. We've got the Aether Sphere, Aether Sphere Harvester. So it's got flying. Whenever it enters battlefield, it's going to gain 2 energy, and then we can pay 1 energy to give it lifelink, but it's only got crew 1, so it's got, it's going to be able to fly over. Crew 1 to get a 3/5 with flying is going to be decent, as well as enabling us to get a couple energy when it enters. Consulate Turret, we can just tap it to get an energy, and we can tap it, pay 3 energy to deal 2 damage to a target player. We're mostly just going to tap this each turn to get an energy. We've got Deadlock Trap in here. It enters tapped. When it enters battlefield, get 2 energy, and then we can pay an energy to tap a target creature or Planeswalker, and then its activated abilities can't be activated this turn. So that's a good way to be able to counter someone's strategy if they're going to be, they're going to tap something to start their combo off. We can use this to stop that, and, gives us energy when we enter. We've got Fabrication Module. Every time we get an energy, we get to put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. As I said, we've got lots of stuff to generate energies in here. We're going to be able to also pay 4 to tap to get an energy. Mostly just going to do it for this top part to get us some +1/+1s going. Boundary Inspector. Artifacts cost 1 less. Pretty simple. We've got a lot of artifacts in here to kind of work alongside our other stuff, so that's going to be helpful there. We've got Inspiring Statuary, so some of the non-artifacts we can use, our artifacts to improvise for them. Stuff that, isn't necessarily that we're going to want to tap or anything like that. We can use this to be able to do it, to be able to get, more value out of stuff. Aetherwork Marvels. Whenever a permanent you control is put into the graveyard, get an energy. Then we can also pay 6 energy to look at the top 6 cards of our library. You can cast a spell from them without paying its mana cost. So a way to spend our energy, as well as ways to be able to get more energy too. As well as the fact that it's a permanent you control. So, you know, tokens will count for that as well. We've got Consulate Surveillance. When it enters the battlefield, gain 4 energy. And then we can pay 2 energy to prevent all damage that would be dealt to you this turn by a source of your choice. So if someone's got a huge combo kind of going off, we can pay a couple energy to stop that. Padim, give all our artifacts hexproof, as well as at the beginning of your upkeep, if you control the artifact with the highest mana cost or tied with the highest mana value, then we can draw a card. So we're going to have a lot of kind of mana value stuff, high mana stuff for artifacts. We can do that, as well as giving our artifacts hexproof, which is going to be nice to stop people being able to target stuff we've got on the board. Territorial Gorger. So this is going to get +2/+2 each time we gain an energy, whether we gain 1 or more energy, and then it's also got Trample. So it's a simple way to be able to potentially buff it up, especially because we're going to have ways to potentially generate multiple energy per turn, so this could get pretty big. We've got Illustrious Wanderglyph. So this has got Ascend. This is from LCI, and I actually really love it. All artifact creatures are going to get +2/+2, as well as the fact that we're going to generate additional golems each time. And then because of the way we've got, you know, some stuff set up, we're going to be able to get, you know, additional energy from that too. We've got Gondai Aetherheart, which is whenever it or another artifact enters the battlefield under your control, gain 2 energy. So this each time is going to generate 2 energy from Gontais. Really, really nice. We can also pay, what's that, 2, 4, 6, 8 energy to take an extra turn. You do have to exile Gontais, but, you know, if you've got like this combo starting out, you can pay that 8 energy, get Gontais, sack it, take an extra turn, which would be nice. We've got the Aether Squall Ancient, which is our last edition here. At the beginning of our upkeep, we're going to get 3 energy. And then we can pay 3, 6, 8 energy to return all other creatures to their owner's hands. So this is like a board wipe, but mostly we just want this to be sticking around, generating those 3 energy each time we've got an upkeep. In the like basic deck, there is a whole bunch of stuff to be able to spend the energy. So like Assaultron Dominator, we can pay an energy to give it +1/+1. We've got Brotherhood Scribe here. Sorry, that's not that. We've got like Sight Rex to be able to do it. Like there's a lot of stuff that I've kept in here that is to do with energy, to keep energy around. Even like Liberty Prime I've kept around because we're going to have a lot more energy generation, which is overall just going to be rather nice in my opinion. So our cuts here, I cut Everflowing Chalice. You know, it's to do with charge counters. I don't particularly want to pay big for a mana rock when I think there's just better options than it to just get more energy. We've got Terramorphic Expanse. I've cut lands to be able to make room for more lands. Wayfarer's Bauble. I'm not a huge fan of keeping this in here when I can just generate more energy instead. Curie Emergent Intelligence. This is like, there was like a sub theme in there of like drawing cards and stuff. I'd rather just, you know, draw cards from something like Padim instead, rather than relying on this thing to generate cards from it. We've got Expert Level Safe. This is really clunky in my opinion. You got to tap it, pay 1, tap it, and then each of you and a target opponent will choose 1, 2, or 3, and then if you chose the right number, like if you both chose the same number, then it's going to sacrifice itself. You get all the cards that are exiled under it, or you exile the next card. Now, why do I think this is clunky? Because it's not whenever it leaves the battlefield, you get those cards back. It's whenever you specifically choose the same numbers. Someone could potentially destroy this if you've got, you know, 10 cards sitting underneath it because you've got an unlucky. Someone could destroy it and then boom, you've just lost, you know, 10 cards that potentially could be important. We got Red Death Shipwrecker. It's good and flavorful. I don't know why it's in this deck. You tap it to go to creature, and then that player draws a card and you add red. It would be good in like a go deck, don't get me wrong. In this deck, not so great. We've We've got Thought Vessel. I don't necessarily need it because I'm not drawing as many cards as I was previously. You know, it's a mana rock, but then we've got other mana rocks in there too, or stuff to generate energy. We've got Camp. So whenever it the fortified land that you put it onto is tapped, put a +1/+1 onto something. If the creature shares a color with the mana that land produced, create a junk token. I'm not necessarily focusing on junk tokens, and also it's going to take 6 mana for this to get started. I don't have a way to be able to put it onto something, so I'm just not a huge fan of it. Bobblehead cut. We've talked about the bobbleheads. They just are clunky. You need a lot of bobbleheads to kind of get the true kind of benefits from them, and maximum you've got 2 bobbleheads in here, so you could draw. You're paying 5 to draw 2 cards, or paying 3 to put +1 and 0 and gain indestructible onto potentially 2 cards, two creatures. Not great. James, Wandering Dad. This has got Investigate and then tap to add 2 mana. Spend only to activate abilities though. So only activating abilities with this is not great in my opinion. Almost made it through the whole video without coughing lung up. We got Nick Valentine, Private Detective. It's got Investigate on it. Potentially, like if you wanted to keep a card in here, this one could stay in there, especially once you've got like the Academy manufacturer there as well. It also can't be blocked except by artifact creatures, which is nice, but I think there's just better options to go more into the energy kind of side of things. Paladin Dance. It's got Vigilance and Lifelink for 3, but then you also, like, to do its second ability, you have to exile it. You can't even, like, just sack it or anything like that. You got to exile it, and then each creature you control that's human or artifact gets indestructible. So it's not awful, but I think that I just preferred some of the energy stuff that we added in. Thirst for Knowledge. Pay 3, draw 3, and then discard a card unless you discard an artifact. We've got better card draw now, and then more card draw in here too. And then Whirler Rogue. Enter battlefield to create 2 Thopters. Tap 2 artifacts to make target. We've got other stuff to make our artifacts tap. And then finally, the Pridwen Steel Flagship. Whenever a non-token artifact enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 white human that gets a +2/+2. So it's going to make it so we create 4. It's just rather expensive, like 6 for a 6/6 that creates more. It's not awful, but I think I'd just rather go heavily into the artifacts. Heavily into the energy rather than heavily into the artifacts and creatures, like that kind of thing. Kind of changing it more into energy. I just wanted to, go ham on energy. I asked people what they wanted, and they wanted energy. Now, keep in mind that all of this is probably going to change with Modern Horizons 3, bringing out more energy cards and another energy precon and stuff. So we'll have to see how that goes. But for now, this is our energy precon. Changes to our precon to change it into energy. Link down in the description. Make sure you sub. Have a great day and goodbye.